Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alan here. We're going to do wild bird seed. Got some water boiling. I got to clean up a little bit of a mess first because I had to get a drill bit before we started because the mounts broke. But we'll get that figured out. So, what we got today is wild bird seed. What we have is from Walmart. It's the Pennington's variety of wild bird seed. And I put it in this container with all the sunflowers and all. We're going to show you how we clean it, get it prepped, boiled, and ready for jarring and piecing, all in a few easy steps. So, what you need to do first is you need to get your wild bird seed. You get a pan, an empty pan, something you can fit the amount of bird seed you're going to need to clean. I'm going to do 9 pints for you guys. So we're going to do 9 of these of wild bird seed. So they're going to be filled 3/4 away with your bird seed spawn. So we're going to pour 6 of these into this bucket right here. So now the reason you do 6 is it's going to expand a little bit, and you're also going to lose a little bit when you take the sunflower seeds out. So we're going to come over here to the sink. I'm going to show you the first step you do with wild bird seed. Okay, let's see if I can not drop the computer. Okay, let's fix this real quick. Oopsie. Freaking technical difficulties every time, right, guys? There we go. Okay. Okay, you come over to the sink. So the first thing you do is you get your wild bird seed in a pan. Now you're going to wash it with hot water, okay? So you take your hot tap water, doesn't have to be any special water, just regular water, and you fill up your pan. While it's filling up, you reach your hand in and you wash the bird seed around so that you don't have all kinds of stuff stuck to it. The Pennington's is fortified with minerals and stuff. I'll show you a picture of the bag after I get this started because we'll have plenty of time. But you're basically going to just run the hot water in the bird seed like this. Wash it off. And as it fills, all the sunflower seeds are going to float. So you see on top all the sunflower seeds? We're going to pour those off into a colander. So as you can see, all the sunflower seeds came right off because it was floating. Now you're going to do this about 6 times. You're going to clean all these sunflower seeds out of the milo, the millet, and the rye. There's little pieces of rye berry in these, in the Penningtons. Got a lot of beautiful stuff. No cracked corn, none of that stuff. Just millet, milo, or sorghum, and sunflower. So there you go. I filled it up again. I'm going to rinse out the rest of the sunflowers as we go along. All the the grains in here float as well. So as you can see, it's getting nice and clean. Still a little bit of sunflower, but this is the easy part. So we just keep rinsing this. You fill it about 3 inches, 4 inches above the level of the bottom seeds. Then you get all the chemicals, anything that's on this bird seed is getting washed off for the first time right now. Now what I have on the stove is I have water boiling. Just some big pots of water boiling so we can make it a little quicker. Normally what you would do is you just take and add hot water and then start boiling this. Almost done. And as you can see, as you do this, it gets cleaner and cleaner. I hope you can see the way it looks, but it's beautiful. And there's absolutely nothing left in there for sunflower. Once I get this last little bit of water poured off, I'll show you how nice it comes out. So this is your Pennington's from Walmart that has milo, millet, rye berries, and sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are now gone. And what we're going to do now is over on the stove, I'm going to adjust the camera, and I'm going to show you what the next step of the first process is. So we're going to go over to the stove. As you can see, I got a few different things of water boiling here. I got the big pot for the last one, and this little one right here is for the first one. As you can see, water's boiling. So the pan that I just rinsed it in, I'm going to put on the stove and pour the boiling water in. Just put this on the floor for a second. Take this pan. Pour your first boiling water batch in. Cover the bird seeds. And now you let that boil, or you let it come back up to a boil, and it's going to boil for 5 minutes. So while this is starting to boil, we'll do some Q&A, put a cover on it, let it come up to a boil, and then we will start timing it. Hey, what's going on, Nerdy? Happy, what's up? Yes, Nerdy, that's all that's left is rye, sorghum, and a little bit of millet, Milo, and a little bit of rye. So yeah, but yeah. So that's how I started. Get everything going. As you can see, it's getting hot again. Once this comes up to a boil, we're gonna boil it for 5 minutes. We're gonna do that twice. That's why I have multiple pots of hot water. If anybody has any questions, feel free to. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you the sunflower seeds. How do we get rid of sunflower seeds? That's easy. Where do you live? Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these black sunflower seeds. I'm gonna throw them out in the yard for the birds. So. All you do, just go outside. All gone. Perfect. Clean. Birds are happy. You get rid of your dirty seeds. They're not dirty. They're just wet. So if you want to put them in like a bird feeder, it might get a little bit bunged up. But if you just throw them out in the yard for birds or ducks or whatever. Let me grab the bird seed and show you which brand I'm showing you. Now at Walmart, they got this brand in this bag for $18 for 40 pounds. This is the exact one I'm using. Pennington. Oh, it's reversed. But it is Pennington. Wild bird seed for, I think it's finch and goldfinch and chickadee. But it does have the fortified label on here. But that all rinses off in the hot water in the boils. So that's what we got. That's where the bird seed comes from. Yeah, Jen, I saw your message. That's the exact bird seed I've been using for weeks, and it colonizes incredible. Actually, months. So this is coming up to a boil pretty quick. Once it starts boiling, we do a 5-minute timer. I might need to do 3 cycles because of the fact that I have the water boiling already, so it might not have quite as long to get hydrated, but I'll check it. It should be fine. Any questions, guys? Feel free to ask them. I can see the chat. Yeah, but the black oil sunflower, they probably do have a little bit of oil, but they're good for the birds. It's made for bird seed, so throwing it in the lawn is not going to put oil in the lawn. But yeah, I mean, we got a ton of birds and geese and eagles and all kinds of animals that fly around here. So throwing them out there, nothing's going to go to waste. So put this on the faster burner. So the faster burner will get that going quicker. I forgot I turned the heat down when I had it waiting. But yeah. So that'll come up to a boil pretty quick. But yeah, basically what's happening is we're going to boil it once, and that's going to get all the crap off the seeds that doesn't come off in your warm water sink rinse. So you're going to get your minerals that they spray on, any chemicals, any of that stuff. There's not much on there for that stuff. It's pretty much all cleaned off already from just the sink rinse. But I'm trying to show you can do wild bird seed, relatively inexpensive. I'm going to just put it in jars. I use pint jars. People can use quart jars, whatever you want. You can put it in bags. I've done that many times. This is mostly just the preparation. After it's prepared in jars, I'm going to show you up to the point where it's in jars. Then it goes in the pressure cooker for 2.5 hours at 15 or 17 psi. But yeah, so this is almost there. I'm going to bring you over and show you the water, how dark it is right now. it's already getting. Oops. Which way am I going here? Okay, so that's good. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Here we go. Look how dirty that water is. So all the dirt's coming off. A few of them are floating up to the top. And what you're going to see happen is it's going to boil. We're going to do a 5-minute timer. And drop the iPad a few times. And then, yeah, so I gotta put this back. Freaking thing. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we'll just watch that start to boil. Let's see. You know what, Nerdy? I had whole oats going, and I had them go contaminant on me all the time. And I had a little bit left in a bag I found, and I used them, and every one of them is contaminated. Every time I use whole oats, it contaminates. I don't know why. God, this camera's quality sucks today. Sorry, guys. But, so this is just starting to come up to a boil. Let me grab my spoon. So that's just about up to a boil. So we're going to get a timer going. And as soon as it starts to roll, we'll start that one. But, yeah. Hey, Rodman. What's going on? I'm glad you liked it, Rod. Yeah, it was a good grow. I'm glad you liked it. But yeah, who was it? Someone else was talking about the mushrooms. I sent them the dry ones. They said it's like cereal. It's so dry and crackery. It's like dry cereal. Oh yeah, so I wanted to show you those humble apes I had from Dichotomous Keys. I ended up drying them yesterday while I was at work. I wanted to show you that big cap, how dry it comes out, or how a cap comes out. So anyways, when people talk about cracker dry, here's a cap from the humble ape. Now I just took this out of the jar with the desiccant, but this is what cracker dry means. Just falls apart. Just comes into cracker dry. You know, just falls apart. Anything less than that for dryness, that's bad. So anyways, that ended up coming out with some nice caps on that humble ape or the ape redo. So we're just about to a boil. So let's see, any questions? Yeah, are they nice, Rod? How they just fall apart. And you can grind them up in a magic bullet or in a paste and mortar, but you don't need to. They just fall apart. So you just put them in a cup and just use a spoon. If you have a lot of hard stipes, you might need to put them in the grinder, or if you have a large quantity. No, Daddy, I can't today. Okay, so just about there. See, that's the problem with doing live videos with water boiling. It's hard to wait for water to boil, but at least I had it heated up. Oh, I can show you this. So lids. Figured I'd show you how I do my lids when the syringe filters break. So you end up with a hole. Well, luckily, they have these handy-dandy little white circles where you can use micropore tape. And once your syringe filters fall off, get your little circle or your micropore tape and just put it over the hole that the syringe filter was on. It's still a very viable lid, but you don't need a syringe filter if they do fall off. Just a thought. And this is almost there. We'll bring in for a better view. It's almost boiling. So now that the bubbles are breaking, we're going to do a 5-minute timer so we can get to the next section. So you let that boil for 5 minutes. Okay? So any other questions, feel free to ask. While we wait for that to run its timer. So basically what we're doing is the 2 5-minute things do hydrate the milo and millet. What they also do is they clean everything off of it. The second run in boiling water, I'm going to show you what I do. I'm going to add in some calcium carbonate in the final run. So that adds a little bit of calcium, which should make the mushrooms grow better. Your casing layer. It depends. If I do a pseudo casing when I first spawn the bulk, I'll just put like an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch over the top of just regular CVG that you're using. If you're doing a true casing, I would use just pure core, or there's a lot of recipes for like a peat moss core mixture, but you want a non-nutritive casing if you're doing a true casing. CVG is non-nutritive, but you want something maybe a little more higher pH for a true casing. That way, you're eliminating chance of bacteria and spores and stuff to colonize on top while it's going. Yeah, there you go. Yep, it's boiling nicely, guys. So I'll show you how what a boiling water can looks like. I know you probably know. We're doing that for a couple more, 3 more minutes. And when we're done with the second boil, you're going to see the water is going to come out perfectly clear. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just drip dry it for a few minutes and put it in jars. So it's actually a very simple process. It literally just involves waiting for water to boil. No, excuse me. Nothing fancy. I've been hearing people talk about soaking it for 24 hours. You don't need to. Why waste a day? You could, but it's milo and millet, so small that it's very easy to hydrate. And then if you soak it and then dry it, it's really easy to dry it out. Like Mushroom Grow guy there, I think it was Mike, was saying on Ed's podcast the other night, it can dry out really easily. Yeah, maybe nerdy. I don't know. The only reason I'm doing the cook like this is to hydrate it quickly, and to clean it. That's actually what's happening mostly is I'm cleaning it. I'm not really worried about the hydration level. When you have enough, if you don't dry it after you boil it like this, the jars have enough moisture in them through the PC. They don't break or nothing. I'll show you. We're gonna get there. And the water is getting darker as it rolls through. Everything is dark. That comes out. It's looking really nice. I'll get it. Thanks. And we got another 2 minutes, and then we'll skip to the next step, and I'll show you guys what happens next. Yeah, the other grains are kind of cool. It's got what the hell did it say? Let me read it. It's sunflower, millet, milo, and thistle. I don't know. And rye, dried rye fruit. So it's actually really, I think that's like 30 cents a jar for me to use these pints. 20 to 30 cents a jar, so it's not that bad. $18, you get 40 pounds. That could last you, depending on how much you grow. If you're doing quarts, it'll last you a while. No, you don't want to do that, Daddy Mycology. Black cow manure is going to be horrible for a casing layer. That's basically putting like a nutrient layer on top and allowing anything that lands there to have a smorgasbord. No, I'm sorry. Samuel, I haven't talked to DK and since the last time he's been online. He disappeared completely after he left Facebook. I don't know. I think he had a website. I haven't seen him. I reached out to him through Facebook, but his account was disappeared, so I don't know what happened with that. But Patrick either from Ed's broadcast, I've always wanted to see more of his work. No, I haven't heard from either of them. But yeah, I do have his 8 redo spores. That's what I just grew there. Yeah, I was down there. My what was the one that was next? The one that was fruiting in the video. Oh, okay, here we go. So, first 5-minute boil's done. Now, there's no rush. It's not going anywhere. You're going to boil it again. So let's see if we can get the sync without destroying the iPad. Let's see here. Well, there we go. If I turn it the right way, you guys can see the right thing. So this is my other pot of boiling water. I don't need that right now. I got more boiling water on the stove. So you have your colander, whatever you want to call it. So you rinse out any sunflower seeds that are left in it. I forgot about that. So now, after the first 5-minute boil, protect your hands with pot holder. Sorry, guys. Yeah, look how dirty this water is. It's pretty dirty, nasty. So we're gonna run some hot water over these and just dump them in the colander. I'll just leave this pot back on the stove for a minute. Don't leave it on the fire without cleaning the water in it. Now, these are all clean. We're going to just rinse them off really good so the water is really clear, which it already is pretty much. That's hot. Careful. Yeah, the water's running real clear. So we're going to do the final boil. Okay, we're going to put them back in the pan. If I can scroll you over there. Let's see if I can destroy this thing. So you got your pan. Okay, now we're going to add some more boiling water. Normally you just put water in and let them cook up to a boil again, but since I have some, I'm going to pour it in. Now you can see how clear the water is. A lot clearer. You can see right through it. Here it's better if you can see the light. This will cook. And what I'm going to add to this now is 2 teaspoons or heaping tablespoons of calcium carbonate. This is in place of gypsum. People that use gypsum in their grains. It helps make nothing stick together. Now, when I see a teaspoon, I mean a plastic spoon from Walmart. Heaping. So that's 1. I'm going to do 2 of those. So it's about a quarter of a cup. Let me see my heaping spoonfuls. Now that turns the water white, which is fine, because that's what it's doing. It's bringing the pH level up, hopefully around 8, and it's adding the calcium into the mix. So that's what it looks like now. It's got that white tint to it, which is fine. So let's see if there's any questions on this stuff. Okay, so Pan-Cyan can use the Samuel. If you're going to use manure, you should pasteurize it, which means running it at about 165 to 180 degrees for in the center for at least 2 hours. That way there you are killing all the dangerous bacteria and stuff and saving the beneficial bacteria that can fight away contaminants. I have been trying a little bit of horse manure in my CVG, just on a few of them. It seems to be working fine. I also pasteurized it for 2 hours at 100, I think it was 178 or 180 degrees. It's been working fine, but I have in the past had grows that I didn't pasteurize properly or sterilize the substrate, and the manure did have problems. I would just, if you're not running anything that needs manure like Pan-Cyan or any other, I would just use CVG. Mouse mofo, I wouldn't. Too salty. That's why I switched to calcium carbonate to increase my pH level. I was using baking soda, and it's the sodium that's screwing it up. The calcium is what you need. The calcium carbonate, or like in lime, there's some calcium there, or in the gypsum is calcium sulfate, or sulfate, whatever, calcium sulfate. Sulfates aren't as bad as the sodiums. So the salts are going to build up if you start using things like Epsom salt or baking soda, and it'll slow down your growing. Yeah. We're just about boiling. So this one, like I said, I added the calcium because it's my final one. Now, if your water was still really dirty after your second rinse, you want to boil it, rinse it off again, and then do another boil for a few minutes. That's just really cleaning the grain mostly. It's pretty much completely hydrated at this point. Um, it's really easy to do. Like I said, it's 2 5-minute boils, and then you colander it, drain it for a couple minutes, and then jar it. There's no drying, there's no waiting, there's no nothing. You put it right in the PC after you jar it. You can put regular jar lids, modified jar lids. If you're using regular jar lids, I would flip the insert and then just keep them backed off a little bit so the steam can get in and out. It's a really simple method. Yeah, where am I going to put him? I got a dog. He poops enough for everybody. But yeah, tortoise poop or elephant poop would be the ideal nitrogen, carbon nitrogen ratio stuff I was hearing everybody talking about. Who was talking about that? Someone was talking about shit on the other YouTube channels. It's just about there. Now, normally you take 20 minutes to an hour to get the water boiling, but I'm trying to do it quick for you guys in a video, so I prep the water ahead of time, which you can do too, which makes it easy. Just take a big pot, boil some water, and you can just do it like I did, just pour it in. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, starting simple. Nerdies are absolutely right about that, Daddy Mycology. You don't need poo to grow these. You need core vermiculite, gypsum, or CVA with aramite, whatever. There's lots of different things you can add to the calcium and vermiculite. You can use calcium or core and vermiculite. You can use calcium carbonate. You can use gypsum, calcium sulfate. You basically don't want a lot of nutrition in your substrate for cubes or any core lover at that point. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to tell you guys. I found a trick. Not a trick. I've been buying these nitrile gloves. Basic ones. These are gray. These are a size large. And I noticed that the fingertips are hard to work with, and they're always bunching up and easy to break. Well, I went on Amazon and I looked up some real latex gloves. Now, if you're allergic to latex, obviously don't use latex gloves. But I got a pack of these Deal Med latex gloves. They fit tight. You can feel what you're doing. These are medium. They fit just fine. They have plenty of stretch. You can go quite a ways before they rip. I mean, it's hard to rip them. They do rip. Much better latex. If your guy's not allergic, you can feel the ribs of the plates. You can feel your tools better. I'm absolutely love them. Makes things a lot easier to work in the lab with, that's for sure. And we are boiling. So we're going to do 5 more minutes. If you guys want to see the boiling water. And that'll boil for 5 minutes. And then we're going to drain that off. And it's done. That's it. Completely done. Drain off the water. Put it in jars. Pressure cook it. Now, pressure cooking is not part of this video. I apologize. It would take another 3 hours to make this video, and I don't have that time. But yeah, so damn, where's my tripod? I have to break right before a live video. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So I have some of them. Yeah. Hot in this kitchen. I was amazed. These are only 2 millimeter too. These are thin. But I mean, I was right. They're strong. I mean, they stretch well. Like I said, I'm like a 8-inch from wrist to tip, my middle finger. So mediums fit really well, and there's still room to stretch. I have not mass mofo. You can. It's a great additive, like your azomite. Azomite. That's the one I'm trying next. Azomite. Where'd I get the? Yeah, I did get those on Amazon, but they're the only place I could find the latex. I'll send you a link, Rod. They're Deal Med or Deal Tech or Deal Med medium. I actually looked up. I've typed in the search medium latex gloves, and it was actually kind of hard to find. Oh, thanks, B. That's the Michael Allen tree shirts. Cool. Okay, that's boiling good. Now what you can do, I have some extra water from when I boiled it back there, and my PC's full, so you can pour the boiling water extra that you want to just over it to clean it if you want. I'm not gonna, because I like the calcium carbonate to stay on after this boil. Jesse, I tried a couple, but I never bought a new one. I tried a few that I got for free, and didn't have much luck, but it had nothing to do with the technique of I just haven't had luck using one because I haven't had one to use. Um, I prefer a PC just because of the size. Now I have a PC and an autoclave, and it's nice because I can take the autoclave, start it up electronically, and then put it on the stove on low when it gets to 16 psi, and that doesn't make any noise for like 45 minutes to an hour. Every 20 minutes, it might make a little hissing. Yeah, Instapot, add 45 minutes to an hour on everything every time you see. And don't use 90 minutes for your grains. Always start at 2 to 2.5 hours. 90 minutes is not enough to get in the center because the way people load their pressure cookers too. I don't know if you've seen some of these videos where I've done it too. I've done it too. When I first started, they stuff them full of dirt, core bags, and all this stuff, and there's like one little tiny hole in the side for the air to come through. You're not steaming properly. When it says it can hold 7 quarts, don't put 10 and cover the top. If it says it can hold 16 pints, you don't need 2 layers. Just put 10 on the bottom. Bags, make 1 layer or 2 layers of bags. Like I do CVG, I do stuff it more because it's just CVG. But when you're doing grains, make sure you have plenty of room in your PC for the steam to get through and everything. Hey, Minnie. Question, has anyone ever... I must have missed that one. The answer is just hasn't been successful. Yeah, thank you, Minnie. That's very, 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 very smart. Very true. Oh, God. Yeah, you can fit 4 pints in the Instapot. The big one, I think, is the 8 quart. I don't know. So we got another minute and a half, and you can see this is rolling on the boil. You just want to let that sucker boil like crazy. You don't care. For 5 minutes, let it go. No reason to turn down the heat to a simmer. Just let it boil. Rolling boil. And this is not my complete idea. I did get this from another pair on YouTube. I don't know their name. It was a guy and girl in a joint farming thing or mushroom thing. I can't recall the name, but they did this and they were talking about it. And I added it into my tech. But it's not my idea. Nothing's original anymore in this stuff. But yeah, this is what I've been finding is working absolutely great. 2 5-minute or maybe 3 5-minute boils. If after your first 2, there's no give to any of your grains, do another one. I'm going to show you when this is done how the grains get. You can actually pinch them really easy. They don't pop until maybe I got 1 or 2 in a couple jars, but like 1 or 2 is all you get from piecing. But they've been running great. Here we go. Okay, so last step. Let me get you set up here. Okay. Let's drain this last one. So this is the final. Now, as you can see, here's one of the little rye berries that was in there. Okay, watch. It's all smushed. But your grains should just come out. I can get them squished through my fingernails. They come out nice and soft, nice and hydrated. See that? It just squishes between your fingers. The bigger piece, the same. So you end up with a nice, well-hydrated batch. Now, I think that's been about 2 minutes worth of draining. Well, guess what time it is? Fill your jar time. The way I do it, I use one of these. I fill them almost 3/4 of the way. That's one. I'm going to use my spoon. It's easier. You don't wait for them to dry. You don't need anything else. Jar it up 3/4 of the way. These are quarts, or pints, I'm sorry. This is where you gain a lot of time when you're doing this because you don't have to wait for it to dry for 3 hours. Any final hydration that's needed is going to happen in the jars or in the bag. If you do use bags, you might have to mix them up after they come out, after they're sealed. I don't seal my bags with, I use joint binder clips or staples or something. But yeah, this is the. I might only end up with 6 jars. I don't know. I might not have made enough. I was doing it quick. Should get. I put 6 jars in. Yeah, I should get 9 here. So like I said, I originally used 6 full pints. So I can make 9 micro pints. I guess that's what you call them. They're 3/4 full. I might only get 8, but a lot of it has to do with how much sunflower seed you take out. I take it all out, so it kind of goes down a little bit. Might be able to get all 9. We'll see. So there we go. We got all 9 of our jars. We're going to put the lids on. We're going to pressure cook them at 15 psi for 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. I always go longer, but I just put the lids right on these. I don't put aluminum foil over them. With the syringe filter like that, the heavily unmodified is just, it's fine by me. I don't care if they're modified or not. But make sure your rims are clean. Like I'm wiping them off as I do this because I got some grains on the rim. What I also did is I PC'd all my jars last night to make sure they were clean from any contaminants that might have been on the jars because they were in storage. That's always sometimes a good idea to do. Instead of just washing them in soap and water, after you wash them in soap and water, put them in your PC for 10-15 minutes at pressure. That way there you get, a nice deep clean on your glassware and on your lids and stuff. So all these have been pressure cooked. These are going to go in the PC after this. And I'll show you how that's loaded. So we got a pressure cooker here, which is a Presto. Thank you, Bubba Gum. I'm putting them all right here. So I have water up to a 2-inch high trivet in here. I'm gonna load these all in on one level. And as you can see, 9 fit pretty well. Could probably get a 10-20 if I wanted to. But this is plenty. So what you do is you bring this up to 15 psi and you let this go for 2.5 hours. And that's all we're going to do with that is put that back on the stove. So that's what you do. Next you clean up your mess, but we won't get into that right now. There's the pressure cooker going right there. I'll let that go for 2.5 hours, like I said, and that'll be done. Let's see if we have any questions. Yes, actually, Nerdy, I have. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, probably about 30 pounds since I started working, and about a month. So yeah, my stuff's starting to get a little bit looser. Yeah, right. I wish. I'm still losing. Yeah, so anyways, let me get this camera set up better. And we can talk for a minute, guys, if you want. But yeah, so it's actually a pretty simple technique, guys. You just basically boil it for 5 minutes each time, and that's it. Simple. And that cleans everything off. That's the main thing. It's cleaning all the seed down to the, even the rinse water's clean down here. A little bit of calcium mixed in, but even the seeds that ended up in the drain are beautiful. You do lose a little bit, but they're still hydrated nicely. They're nice and soft. They're not soft. They're still millet. They're still hard, but they're hydrated properly, and they come out PC absolutely beautiful. Let me check, see if anybody had any questions. I don't know, Jesse. Yeah, usually it's the conditions. What I'm actually going to be trying this soon is longer CO2 heavy timing. Like let the colonized cake stay in the shoebox or stay covered for a little bit longer so that it has a sudden rush of fresh air. Um, Probably give it an extra 3 to 5 days to colonize. So that way what's happening is when they go in the fruiting conditions, boom, they get a rush of fresh air over the whole surface area and humidity. So that's actually my next test I'm doing. I'm doing it with that Albert 2 toad I made, the unmodified tub, just to see how that works. But side pins happen for me all the time. But yeah. So anyways, that's the Birdseed 101 class, guys. Like I said, any questions, feel free to ask me, email me. I just use fresh water from the tap. It's non-chlorinated here, so that's one good thing. If you have to, you can use fresh tap water, and then on the last one, run a gallon of distilled water over them. That's one thing you can do also. So what you do is you do your first boil with regular tap water and all your rinsing and all that, and then after your first boil, do your second boil in the distilled water or bottled water. That'll also help keep the final product clean. Yeah, so that's about all I have to say about birdseed. Like I said, it's the Penningtons, wild bird, finch, and something else here. What did it say? I'll show you guys again. Pennington. I know it's in reverse. I can't do anything about it. Pennington, wild bird seed. And it does have the fortified stuff with the minerals. There's nothing like mycorrhizal or trike or anything like that. It's minerals and stuff like that. But yeah, it's working. It's been working great. This is the second bag I've gone through. Basically everything I have growing right now is growing on wild bird seed, except for that GT. Thank you guys. You guys did see that contam before me. That's gone. That was one of my last two wild oat, whole oat, whatever you call them, grain bags. I am no longer ever using whole oats again. I had contam with that whole entire 50-pound bag. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, now's the time to throw them up there before we end for the day. Yeah, it's been really tough lately with the notifications on everybody. Even Ed, I don't get Ed's notifications. I don't get any notifications except for some weird ones, and they're usually old videos. But yeah, I try to post at least the day before that I'm going to do something. With work, it's kind of tough, but I got some microscopic stuff coming up in about another 2 weeks. I should have everything ready for doing some on-screen microscope work. So yeah, I'm going to be getting some better camera action going and trying to get things set up better. I got some lighting coming for down in the lab. So the videos are going to get better. I apologize about this one. I had to do it. I'm upstairs. I'm not downstairs with my computer. I just had to use the iPad, but the freaking mount broke right before I started. This thing right here, the thing that goes in the hole, it broke off. So I could still mount. I can't mount this to the tripod, this is what holds the iPad. So yeah, so right as I was about to go live, I grabbed this thing and twisted it, and the whole thing went snap. Yeah. Absolutely, he does. He adds a lot of stuff to his. Yep, but he's also growing a lot of different mushrooms than we are. Well, as far as like cubes go, but if you're growing gourmet mushrooms, you do have to add a lot of stuff. He does that to his LCs too. He puts a little bit of everything in them. I like to keep it simple, one ingredient. If I have to, maybe two. My LC right now, I'm going to be testing, or my agar and my LC. I'm doing really low percentages of corn dextrose. Let's see, I got a new malt. It's the Breeze Golden Light Dark Light Malt Extract. So I'm trying this one with tiny bit of soy peptone. Finally got one. So I finally got some. So my agar is now a little bit of light malt extract, soy peptone, and dextrose, corn dextrose, which is it's actually looking really good. The first batch I did, those blue plates I did the other night, I put a couple of transfers and stuff jumping right onto it. So it does like the peptone and the corn dextrose for sugar. But yeah, so that's the corn dextrose. I got that first idea. I got it from Mike over at Mount Mushroom Mesa. He was talking about corn dextrose, and he told me where to get it. So I got some. It's actually been working really great. It dissolves great. Doesn't turn many colors. Doesn't get all cloudy. But yeah. So if nobody has any more questions, we're gonna call it a video. I'm not gonna sit and wait to show you guys what happens after the stuff is done in the PC. I'm gonna leave that after the 2.5 hours till tomorrow. It's just gonna stay right in the PC after it's done for 2.5, 3 hours at 15 psi, and I'm just gonna put it over in the corner and I'll unload it tomorrow because there's no reason to unload it. And because when you unload it when it's hot, it can form a vacuum and it can suck air in through the sides around the syringe filters and all that stuff. I'd rather leave it in the pressure cooker. It'll pull a little bit of a vacuum in there and just sit inside the pressure cooker until the temperatures balance out, and then it should be good. Well, thanks, Jay. Yeah. So I'll show some pictures of the finished product tomorrow. But yeah, PCing is simple. And again, thank you, Bubblegum. That PC has been godsend. Yeah, thanks, Minnie. Okay, have a good day, guys. Thanks for stopping by. And I'm going to post this up in the regular section. So if you guys want to see it, you can check it out again. And if you have any questions, check out my email. Much love.